My top 10 life events. That's the top 10 things that have been very important to me in my life. I'll start off with when I left home, so I started being independent and looking after myself, and that was a great thrill. It was hard work, but it was worth it. Then after my now ex-wife had accepted a proposal for marriage, we had an engagement party in my back garden, which was right next to Windsor Great Park. Some people travelled miles and only stayed for 45 minutes, which was great. Then getting married after that party was a high point for me as well, as I felt really optimistic about my future with my then wife. The fact that my wife then divorced me about 2 years ago doesn't mean that getting married to her wasn't a really great experience, and having 3 lovely children from a marriage to her isn't really important. It is. Obviously the divorce is desperately bad, but the marriage itself, when it happened, was great. A few years later I passed my driving test, and that was a great experience for me as well. And the independence and freedom of having a car was great. Then as part of my child work career, I worked in a school for children with behaviour problems, and I was really thrilled about getting that job. When I turned up for the interview, the headmaster of the school said there's going to be a bit of a delay before you can have your interview. And I said, I haven't come for the interview, I've come for the job. And he coughed and went away. I was also thrilled by the birth of each of my 3 children. My first son, Blake, was born by caesarean section, so it took quite a long time and it was quite complicated. The second son, Gavin, took a bit less time, but he caused quite a bit of damage on the way out because he had quite big shoulders. But my third son, Matthew, came out like a cannonball. Really quick, very simple, no complications. So the birth of each of my children was a really happy thing for me. And I feel that more now because I miss them so much and I can't even legally communicate with them. I was also really happy when I got my theology degree, being able to stand in front of everybody and be handed a certificate saying you passed your degree. That was a great experience for me, because that was 3 years of study that I chose to do. I wasn't forced to do it by law. Another great life event for me was getting a puppy. We called her Molly in the end. Going to the people's house to choose the puppy with my children was a great experience, and Molly was a great dog to have around the house. Another really happy moment for me was when my children were promised they could come and live with me. So the boys and myself had a moving in party, which was great. Now the ex-wife decided 2 weeks later to restrict all communication between me and the children, so that was a massive come down for me, a massive difficulty. Another great experience for me was writing the song Love is Free. I picked up the guitar again for the first time in about 26 years and started playing it, and the song happened in about half an hour, and I started crying again for the first time in about 30 years. Not about the misery of my recent circumstances, which was desperately bad, and I could have cried about that, but I was crying about the beauty of the music. So that's my top 10 experiences in life.